Hi, this is Kevin from Rhino packaging design company. Today I'm going to review some of the child-resistant packaging that's on the market. I'm going to rate them based on three aspects. One of them is design, the material that has used, and the third one is based on the CR mechanism. Hope that this review will help you guys find CR packaging that fits your need in the future. So why do we need a CR packaging? The CR packaging is basically merchandise that's harmful for children to retrieve. Therefore, we need a packaging that's difficult for children to open. At the same time, it's not so difficult for adults to open. So therefore, we have the need for those packaging. Okay, the first box we're going to review is made with our car and it's a drawer box. The CR mechanism is on both sides. So you can see here is a slot and there is a slot that you need to press both sides to be able to push the tray out, and then you could retrieve whatever that's inside. Based on this design and this type of box, it's very usual on the market. It shouldn't be hard for you to find the supplier or the manufacturer that's capable of making it. Based on the design and the appearance of the brand, I'll give it a 4 because the printing, the material that's selected is pretty much on spot. This is the silver foil paper. So you can see there's a CR mechanism. There's no buttons. So they're using the papers to reinforce the tray in place. Also, the front is cut out. This means a child could easily probably rip the packaging and retrieve what's inside. So the CR mechanism on this one, I'll probably give it a 1 or 1.5 star because this might not pass the CR exam if you really send it to the lab. Next we're gonna review this very similar style box. It's a drawer box. This, among all the packaging that I'm reviewing today, this is my personal favorite as well. So let's get to it. When you open it, you can open the slide like that. In the CR, there's a tray inside. So the CR, actually you have to press this button to release. You'll be able to pull this tray out. Now, when you're not pushing it, you're not able to push this tray out. There is a cover. You could hold it and your pre-roll will be stashed in here. This is not something that's usual on the market. So if we're going to rate this packaging, design-wise, I'll give it a 5. The attention to detail of this packaging is right on the point. The material on this packaging, you can see, is very sturdy, it's very strong, it's not easy to rip open. So material of this packaging, I'll also give it a 5 because when you touch this packaging, you can really feel that someone has really put a lot of design effort into this packaging. It's a CR mechanism, which is the childproof mechanism. This one is really sturdy, so when it's locked, it can hardly pull it out. So this one, the design and the mechanism, I'll give it a 4 to 5. It's very intuitive to use it, but doesn't add additional mechanism for it to work. Okay, next we're gonna talk about this. This one is very similar to the previous two as well. It's also a drawer. When it's closed, you can't pull it open. On the side of the box, you can see any buttons. So that's really good because it keeps the packaging design consistent. When there's no hole, artwork on the box could be more complete. So there's 2 tabs on the back of the box that you have to press this 2 tabs and pull it at the same time. So you could be able to retrieve the tray. Now, when you're not pushing those 2 tabs, you can't pull it out. So if I'm rating this packaging, the design-wise, not much of a design on the packaging itself. Just design-wise, I'll give you probably 1 point. However, this packaging using a special ripstop lamination inside of the box. So this paper, even though it's made with paper, you can't rip it open. So with that lamination and the design of the structure and the material of the packaging, I'll give it a 5 point. CR mechanism, I'll give it a 5 because it's very functional and it's very easy to use. So this one is also a drawer box. As you can see, it's very small. This is for a single-use pre-roll. There's 2 tabs that protruding out of the box. So you have to press those 2 tabs at the same time, which is they're in diagonal location. So you really have to use 2 hands to push it and then use your finger to push out the tray. So if I'm rating this packaging, the design wise, I think this is very small. It's very functional. It got a strike pad on the side, and also inside you can see in the tray there's divider. So one your pre-rolls goes inside and the other space is for your matches. I believe that this brand also gives you a matches inside the packaging as well. So I think it's really smart design that you could just get the packaging without using any tool. You can open up the packaging and you could enjoy your pre-roll right away. Design, I'll give it a 4 point. Now the material used on this package is a little bit flimsy. So material, I'll give it a 3.5. Next, we're reviewing the CR mechanism. It doesn't require additional parts. I'll use just the paper to hold this packaging together. The CR mechanism on this packaging, I'll give it a 4 point. Okay, the next package we're talking about is a rigid box. So the difference between the rigid box and the folding carton. The rigid box is actually a very thick cardboard that will prevent breaking, ripping, and it's very strong, very sturdy. I personally think the rigid box is the best material to make the CR functional box. Finish with the hologram foil stamp. This makes this packaging very stand out when it's placing on the shelf. So they make that type of detail, which is really good for their branding and really good for catching consumers' eyes. Design, I'll definitely give it a 5 because that there is a lot of hidden spot UV area. Also the graphic for the content that's on the packaging, which is good because that a lot of time people are actually seeing the packaging but not knowing what's inside. Now this one has a PVC button in the back. Also there's a clear pull tab here. With that clear pull tab, that's the only way you'll be able to pull this drawer. You will have to press the button and pull the tab at the same time to retrieve the tray. The mechanism, I'll give it a 5 because it's very sturdy. This one, it will not break when you're pulling really hard and using a strong force. It will still not come out. So the next box we're gonna reviewing is also a rigid drawer box. They go extra mile to make a private molding for their own CR button. Now outside there's a sleeve, so this is a cardboard sleeve. So you can see there's no cutout on the side as well. So actually you can't really retrieve here because that there's no place for you to hold your hand to get the drawer out. There's only one button for you to get this tray out. So you have to push this button and then push. That way you'll get your tray out like that. And then to push back and that CR lock will be back in place and there's no way you could get it out. The design of the packaging, I'll give it a 4 because there's no content on what's inside the packaging. The material using on this box is really good. It's also a rigid box, but they also add additional sleeve over the box. I think the material they're choosing and using on this box is very sturdy, also a rigid box, so it's not something that you could just easily rip open. Material, I'll give it a 5. Also, their custom button, I really like this custom button. Next, the CR mechanism. This is definitely a 5-star because that is very easy to use, just one button, and it's functional, and it could be reused over and over. This one we're reviewing is also a drawer box. They're using this box to store a glass jar inside, so this box is actually bigger than usual. Now to open this packaging, there's a button on the side, so you have to press this button, and you can see there's nothing for you to get this tray out. So you have to do 2 things. First, you press this button. Second, you use your finger to push the tray out like that. Then you can retrieve the tray inside. So you can see inside the box they also have logo printed on both sides as well. The design, I'll give it a 4-star because that still doesn't have the content or the actual material that's packed inside. And, the material that's using, this is a very strong rigid box as well. So I'll give it a 5-star. The CR mechanism, however, is functional. As you can see, this glass jar is probably about 50-60 gram, but it really holds the packaging together and it will not release when you're shaking it. But if I'm rating this button, this CR mechanism, I will rate it a 3.5 to a 4 point because that it actually works, and then it wouldn't fail. So there you go. There are many packaging on the market that requires a CR packaging, such as mouthwash, tobacco, cannabis. What is the certified CR packaging? Certified CR packaging will need to pass this test standard. Once it's passed, your packaging will consider a certified CR packaging. You will be able to use this packaging on the market to resell the product. If you have any questions regarding the CR packaging, you could feel free to contact us at InnoRhino. We will be more than happy to answer your questions for you. This is Kevin from InnoRhino. Thanks for watching. See you next time.